What's going on? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Ring Chaser podcast. I'm Alex Amick with my co-host.
Jacob. And today we're giving away some first round awards.
Okay.
We got some fun awards today, but first, my man Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm chilling. How are you?
I'm great. Just finished watching that great assembly.
Oh, yeah.
It was something,
Oh, yeah.
but I'm better now. We're recording, giving away some awards. We just hop right into it.
Let's get it. Let's start with who we think the MVP of the first round is. Go ahead. You take it off.
My MVP of the first round is going to be Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics.
Can't go wrong there.
29.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, and 7 assists, and almost 2 steals a game.
Wow.
45% from the field. And he played lockdown defense on KD.
Yeah.
He just did not look comfortable at all that
No, he
series. And, just
Really
just a
physical.
little more nibbit in there. He hit the buzzer beater layup in game 1 just to set the tone of
yeah.
that series. And,
For sure.
he was just all over that series,
That layup, the series has different momentum at the start. Who knows what happens?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
Every game was close, so.
yeah, like that layup changed that series, and then just him having the ability to go off offensively and also still have the energy to play defense on a guy like KD who's so lethal.
Yep.
That was good. That's why he's my MVP.
Fair enough, yeah. For me, I actually have 2 players that I'm going to talk about. Because I think there's 2 players I have that I think would be deserving of it. First of all, I would say Steph Curry.
Of course.
He averaged 28 points per game in the series. He was plus 52 when he was on the floor, and Golden State was minus 11 when he was off. And the crazy thing to me is he put those numbers off with less minutes because he started.
He played the whole series
bench.
off the bench, didn't he?
No, he started the last game.
Oh, he started the last game, but yeah, like 5-game series, 4 of the 5 games off the bench.
Yeah.
Still 28 a game. That's solid, and he was plus 52.
He might have started
while
game
being
4
off
as
the
well.
bench.
He might have started game 4 as well, but he had 3 pretty amazing games coming off the bench, putting good points up in not a ton of minutes and being the most important player on the floor, which it's Steph Curry. You kind of expect that.
Yeah, I mean, it was good for him to come back after missing a lot of time with the injury.
Yeah.
To still look like Curry, and he looked better than he did
look at Curry
before
man.
he looked better than he did before his injury.
Yeah.
Because he actually shot the ball better.
Yeah, he was shooting pretty well. Yeah. My other player I want to give some props to is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, it's Giannis. He averaged 28.6 points per game, which technically is down from his regular season numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Giannis. Like, no Milton for most of the series.
Yeah.
And they still win 5 pretty easily against your Bulls.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, man, he was plus 86
Plus
in the series.
86. That's wild.
Yeah, it's value when he's on the floor,
Like,
man.
and the thing is Giannis will go out there and have a 37-15 game, and then he'll just sit in the interview in the post-game interview and just be like, "Hey, I'm just trying to earn my minutes." Like,
and
bro,
just
you're a 2-time MVP.
And then he'll just
You
bring
don't
out
say
a
that.
dad joke. Like there was a point where he was laying on the ground and he was kind of just chilling there, and the reporter asked him what he was thinking, and he was like, "Yeah, I was just thinking about maybe what my next dad joke would be in the interview later today."
I mean,
that
yeah,
stuff.
both those guys, Curry and Giannis. I don't get how anyone could dislike those guys. Like, if you don't like Curry because you're a LeBron fan, fair enough. It's a rival, but off the court, these guys seem like 2 of the nicest guys in the game. They're pretty damn good too.
Oh, I mean, for sure, especially Giannis. That guy's
Giannis
the
hilarious.
most wholesome guy in the game.
Facts.
Okay, moving on. Next award,
Breakout player.
breakout player.
Player that just shocked at the world and played way better than everyone thought they would.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of stood out. My breakout player of the first round is Jalen Brunson.
Can't go wrong.
He was hooping that first round. Missing Luka, goes out, averages 28 points per game. It's 11.5 points per game higher than what he was averaging in the regular season. And, it was big that he stepped up with Luka out for the first few games. But then he also didn't disappear when Luka came back, which I think helped the Mavs win that series. Because he was just showing out, man. He was hooping. He had, a 41 bomb and then a 31 bomb. I
don't think anyone expected
nobody expected Brunson to be like that on the floor. And, he just kind of stood out, I think, through most of the guys in the first round.
He's been looking solid early second round, too.
Yeah, he had some tough games, some good games. But, I mean,
he's been solid, though.
He's been good, but, I mean, sticking to the first round, he shot the ball better. And, I think the big thing for me giving him this award was that he didn't disappear when Luka got back.
Oh,
like
yeah.
sure he got a few less
That's kind of what
shots.
you'd expect.
He got a few less shots, but he was still averaging like 22 a game
Yeah.
in when Luka was back.
Yeah.
So that's why Jalen Brunson's my breakout player.
To be honest, I would agree with that, but just to have a little more of a conversation here, I think Jordan Poole definitely needs some talks in this conversation. Like, he ended up averaging 21 points per game, which was 2.5 up from the regular season, but he started in Curry's spot 3 of the 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he started the whole series, but Curry was off the bench for 3 of the games.
Yeah.
He's had 25 points in those 3 games.
Yeah.
And he was averaging like 30 a game throughout the first 3 games, but he had a rough game or two at the end, which dropped his points per game a lot. But
Yeah, he had a 30 bomb,
29.
29, 27.
something like that, yeah.
But yeah,
And
he played great for the
he
Warriors.
stepped
that
up. Like
series.
with Curry, if he wasn't playing like that and Curry was off the bench in restricted minutes, I don't know, they might have lost a game or two there.
Yeah, that series would have been much tighter, and
Yeah.
I think Curry would have.
Curry would've struggled too.
Curry would have started a lot sooner in that series. I think.
I think he would
If
have.
Poole was
I think he
struggling.
would have struggled too because not having the eyes away from him and just everyone focusing on Steph,
Mm-hmm.
as we saw in the 2019 finals, that it made it tough for Steph to get his shots up.
Yeah, that PTSD lineup just kind of gives Steph
Yeah.
more open looks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um,
Next award.
Next award?
I mean, I don't know if this one's an award, but it's the most disappointing player of the
the
playoffs.
most disappointing player,
Player
guys.
that everyone expected to do really well, but didn't.
Yeah, guys that showed out in the regular season, but they just kind of disappeared in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They weren't themselves. For me, my disappointing player of the first round is from my Chicago Bulls, DeMar DeRozan. You know, he averaged 27.9 points per game during the regular season, and then in this playoffs, he only averaged 20.8 points per game,
Tough.
which is basically 7 less. I mean, he shot 9% worse from the field. And, you know, he didn't hit a three-pointer, which, I mean, he shot 35% in the regular season. So he's not going to shoot 35% on 9 shots.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you would like to see him hit 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he just kind of – he had – outside from that 41-point game, the Bucks defense just kind of locked him down, and he wasn't able to get as many shots as he normally gets as they just kind of focused the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, for sure. And for me, I think it was an obvious choice for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was Trae Young.
Yeah.
He averaged 15.4 points per game, which is 13 down from the regular season. Like, everyone was kind of expecting Trae Young. He's that playoff guy. Last year in the playoffs, man went off in New York. He went off in Philly. Like, he was a different beast in the playoffs. And, I mean, all year he's been saying, oh, we just kind of get bored in the regular season. We're just here to get in the playoffs.
Well, I mean –
he didn't show up.
that Miami Heat defense is way different than the Knicks or the 76ers defense.
Philly's a pretty good defensive team.
But Miami was one of the best defensive teams this year.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I said this during our first round recap. Shaq said, bad shots look good until they stop going in.
Exactly.
Then they look bad.
If Trae Young's making those step back deep threes, they're going in, everyone's like, wow, this guy played amazing. But they didn't drop, and he played horrible.
live by the jump shot, die by the jump shot, and he died by the jump shot, man. I obviously would agree with you on that, but I chose Debo just to kind of give us a little more variety out here.
Both players definitely underperformed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, nothing new for DeMar.
Kind of the opposite here. Next award, guys that kind of first time in the playoffs, showing out.
Yeah.
We got first timer MVP. I had to go with a guy from New Orleans, Brandon Ingram.
Kind of surprised. He's been in the league for 6 years. This is his first time making the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. He's been on some bad teams. He's on those bad Lakers for those few years. And then New Orleans kind of hasn't really figured it out.
No.
They're starting to figure it out, man.
Zion.
I think if Zion plays a full year with them, I think they could be a 7 seed.
Yeah.
I could see them up there. But speaking of BI, 27 points per game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists on 47% shooting. It's plus 4 points per game and plus 12% shooting from 3 since the regular season.
Yeah.
So his 3-point production really stepped up this playoffs. And, it was his first time in the playoffs in his 6-year career,
He didn't disappoint. Like,
which I was surprising. But
they were way more competitive with Phoenix than I thought most teams would be, and I think that is majority to do with him.
Yeah, he did ball out for them, but I mean, they kind of got some help with Booker being injured, but
Yeah,
I mean, he
another
did.
reason.
I mean, if he doesn't average that, they're not winning a game,
Exactly,
even
yeah.
if Booker's injured. Like, yeah,
Well,
that's
I think they could have won a game because there was one that was like a 15-point game.
true. But I mean, he had that 37-point game when Booker got injured, and it was still it was still like kind of close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to go with Brandon Ingram.
Fair enough, yeah. For me, I had to go with Anthony Edwards. He averaged 25.2 points per game in the playoffs, which is almost 4 points up from the regular season, which this guy, it's the second year in the league. Whenever there's these young guys making their first playoff, like, it's a little different with Brandon Ingram, a guy who's been in the league. He's played these top-tier guys for years now.
Mm-hmm.
Edwards, it's his second year in the league. Like, no one really knew what to expect. Is he a playoff performer? Similar situation with if LaMelo made it this year. Like, everyone's like, will he step up? Which he didn't play great in the plan, but it is what it is.
I think Edwards should have won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I definitely agree because he played more games.
Yep. But that's a different
That's
topic.
that's a topic for another day. But yeah, so Edwards, like, he's the only reason I think Minnesota was in that series. Cat underperformed, I'd say. He had some good games, but he also had a lot of games where he would get a lot of fouls or just not shoot much.
Yeah,
But Edwards, he played really well. He was really solid up from the regular season, which is kind of what you like when you get a young star whose points per game goes up in the playoffs. That's nice.
That's nice to see, kind of this series loss. I don't think it falls on Edwards. Of course, he made that kind of dumb steal attempt on Jaw
I don't think
in that game where he had the buzzer beater, but I don't think you can fault Edwards.
I don't even think you could fault anyone. It was
just a young team.
they were the
young
lower
team.
seed. They were the lower
Yeah,
seed.
they're a lower seed, kind of just feeling out the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see them. I can't wait to see them back next year in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, for
a little
sure.
bit more experience. They kind of know what it's like to play in
Maybe
the
they make
playoffs.
some moves this offseason. I've heard them might be looking at trading D'Lo, maybe get another young piece that fits their team better.
Yeah, I mean D'Lo never really gelled with that team that much.
Well, their starting five this year, whenever they had or maybe not the starting five, but whenever they had Cat, Edwards, D'Lo, Beverly out together, that was the most productive starting five in NBA.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's fair, but he did not he was not very productive in the playoffs. I guess that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's time to move on to the next award, which is the Jerry West Award, which is best player on the losing team, which Jerry West definitely was sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the name goes. It's the reason it's named after
Finals
Jerry
MVP
West.
with losing the championship.
That's something that'll never happen again. I don't think, at least. But my Jerry West Award winner, I already heard his name. Heard him last time. Brandon Ingram. You know his stats: 27 games, 6 and 6. He helped the Pelicans win 2 games against the best team in the league.
Yeah.
But they weren't good enough, obviously, and this was while they were missing, arguably their best player in Zion, at least the guy with the highest ceiling.
Oh, for sure.
And
That guy's really hurt.
Bi had a really solid series. I've already touched on it. Just kind of balled out, especially a few games where he had like multiple 30 bombs.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of already said everything about Bi. But yeah, that's my winner.
I think my winner is Nikola Jokic. A back-to-back MVP. That Joker. 34 points per game and 13 assists. He didn't rebound as well as he usually does, but, I mean, 34 and 13, that's a pretty good stat line.
That's a great stat line.
I mean, I think the series would have been a lot closer if Denver was healthy. I think it's crazy they even won a game with that team. Because, really, Will Barton played well in the series. Some players had good games, but...
You're missing your second and third option.
Literally, and that seems not that good aside from Jokic. Like,
yeah, I mean,
there's a reason he's the back-to-back MVP. He is top 3 to 4 best players in the league.
oh, for sure. I mean, this guy's just dominant. He can shoot that thing a little bit, and he can shoot a little bit. He can pass. He can rebound. He can get you in the paint. He's got so many moves.
Yep.
And I guess it does help that, you're playing.
That lazy boy fadeaway. That's one of the most overpowered moves in the league right now, and somehow no one can figure it out. Except for Draymond Green.
It also. I mean, yeah. It also
no,
helps
I
that the Warriors.
can't even say he averaged 34 in the series.
It also helps that the Warriors are kind of a smaller team too.
Yeah,
so it gives them a
a
little bit more chance to dominate. But he was just kind of unreal this series, and you can't fault him for losing that.
Oh no, there's nothing that anyone could ever say against Jokic in that series.
Yeah, it's just like missing Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.
Like,
they're a significantly better team when they have those guys.
I didn't expect Denver to be a playoff team. I saw them being like maybe a play-in team going into the year, but
I guess
Jokic never fails to live to the just past expectations.
Jokic has just been like showing everybody that he's better.
When this big European guy got drafted, big unathletic, just no one expected him to be this.
That's very true. That's very true.
Like, and every year he comes back from the offseason and he's a little bigger, but then he gets back in shape by the playoff time. That's what he says that. He says, the regular season, that's how I get in shape.
Yeah. Did you see his kind of award thing when he was
there's a horse
MVP.
walking around the background.
There's a horse in the background, and he was just coming back from riding his horse around, and they're showing him his trophy. It was funny. Yeah. That guy's also one of the guys in the league you just can't hate on. Well, he's so nice.
If you're a Miami fan, I see that because the play with Markieff this year, that was a dirty play, but like he obviously didn't mean to hurt him, but it was a dirty play.
That's true. Those Serbians, they get aggressive sometimes.
Gets a little aggressive at the refs.
He's a nice guy though. Can't hate him.
I think we move on to the best moment of round one.
Yeah, just wrapping it all up. Wrapping up round one here. We got our favorite moment, best moment, most exciting moment, whatever you want to call it. Mine is that jaw dunk on Malik Beasley in Game 5 in Memphis.
That's some must-see TV right there.
That was up there for dunk of the year.
Oh,
just gonna say that up there for dunk of the year.
Like the dunk itself would be there, but being that it was in the playoffs,
and it was on a guy who's not a terrible defender in Malik Beasley.
Late in the fourth quarter in a close game.
Yeah. I mean, Jaw's this guy, unreal bounce, unreal energy.
Oh, yeah.
He's fast paced. He's one of the most
fun players to watch in this game.
Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Gives some Derrick Rose vibes before the injury.
Yeah, and I mean, that dunk was it was so crazy. Like I saw it on Instagram after, and it was was jumping out of my seat holy, facts. I was crazy.
Oh yeah. My moment, it was mentioned earlier when we were talking about MVPs. I think Jason Tatum's buzzer-beating layup in Game 1 in Boston. That was a huge one because if Brooklyn took one in Boston,
that would have changed the dynamic of the series.
Like, Kyrie had 39, and with that crowd, that would have been come on for the crowd because they put so much energy in that game, and they might have lost energy for the series, but...
Yeah, I think that would have changed the series.
I'm not saying Brooklyn would have won, but I'm saying
it would have been.
It wouldn't have been a sweep.
It would not have. Obviously, it wouldn't have been a sweep.
Well, it would have been the series itself was close, but it would have been 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think it would have been a more exciting series. Yeah. I guess, but that kind of that layup, that buzzer beater, just kind of set the tone for how the series was gonna go and ended up going, where it's just kind of. I kind of want to say Boston having their way. Yeah. But it wasn't like there were any blowouts. It was just kind of Boston was the better team in that series. Yeah. And they just kind of came out with more aggressiveness and more energy.
Yeah. For sure, yeah.
Well, I think
that's all we got for the awards.
Kind of a little shorter ep today.
Shorter episode, not summarizing any games, just talking about some awards. We'll do this after every round, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think we'll keep going with the awards. For sure. Maybe add a few more if we think of some. But, we got second round recap coming next week.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm excited to talk about that. But that'll wrap it up for today.
Perfect.
So thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Adios.